Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, you're going to need some sort of ball that you can use as a massage ball. I have a double massage ball. They're stuck together. It's basically like two lacrosse balls. So a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, a golf ball. Any of those things will work great if you don't have a traditional massage ball. If you have one with two stuck together instead of a solo, totally fine. And we're going to work on our feet, rolling them out. It's a really good way to start the day, and then we will get right into it. This is primarily a lower body focus class. We're going to use the massage ball first thing to start with our feet. I've mentioned before in I think one other class that I often do this before class and it feels great. It's a really good way to start your day. So we will start. You're going to take your small ball and just place it, and then you're going to take your right foot, and if you have one that's connected, it has the two balls on it, you're just going to pick one side, and you're going to start with it right underneath your toes at the ball of your foot, and then you're going to let your foot roll forward as you roll all the way to your heel, and then you're going to put a little pressure into your heel, and you're going to pull it back, and then let your heel touch the ground. Left knee stays soft, and then just roll it forward, and then pull it back, and forward, and back. And you can bring your hands on your hips, you can have them down by your side, whatever works, just trying to stay nice and upright without locking out that left leg. And then this time you're going to roll all the way forward, and you're going to stop when that ball is on your heel. And then from here you're just going to flex your foot and feel your toes pull up off the floor, pressing down through the heel, and then place your toes back onto the ground, maybe spread them a little bit more. And then again, press into your heel, flex at the ankle, and then spread your toes nice and wide. And then you're going to take a step back and then slide a little higher, maybe about an inch. And you're going to do the same thing. Flex the foot and then lower it back down. 2 more times. Just flex and lift and down. Last one. Hold it up, roll half an inch farther. I am all the way in the center of my foot now, and I'm just going to pick my toes up and then curl my toes under. But I'm not flexing at the ankle, so just lifting through the toes and then lowering. Getting a nice stretch through the top of the foot as well as the bottom of the foot. Working real hard here. And by working hard, I mean to release. If you spend a lot of time on your feet, it's probably pretty tight. One more time, lift those toes up, spread them nice and wide, and relax them down. And then come onto the ball of your foot. If your heel touches the ground, you can lower it all the way down. And then from here, you're just going to bend at the knee and then straighten. So getting a little stretch here through the calf, bending and straightening. You can bend both knees or just the one, whatever's more comfortable. 2 more. And last one. And then pause at the top and then round your toes over the ball and then lengthen and lift them. And then round them over and lengthen. 3 more. 2. And just notice what you want to do with your head. Is your head sticking forward or you're standing in a nice long line? 2 more. Last one. Can't count. And then roll all the way to the top of your foot so that your toes are spread over the ball. And you can just sort of rock your weight from one side to the other, whatever feels good here, or just stay still. Take a little tingliness as I go to the right and the left. Then it goes away very quickly. Good. And then you're going to come with the inside edge of your foot towards the top of the ball, and then you're just going to roll forward and back a couple times on that inside edge of the foot. If you find that you have a sticky spot, pause there, but we're only going to roll. We're not going to go through each part of our foot. On this side, hold on to something if you need for balance. And then come to the outside edge of your foot. Same thing, just rolling back and forth. Check in that left knee has not locked itself out. 2 more. Last one. Good. And then take the ball away, and you're just going to stand on your right foot and just notice the difference for just a few seconds between your right leg and your left leg. through the foot, how much of your foot is touching the ground, and then all the way up your leg, how your hip feels, how your back feels. My knee feels like it's relaxed. My hip feels like it's a little bit more underneath my ribs. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So same thing, just starting with that ball in the center of your foot, rolling back and forth. Also, apologies in advance if part of the screen continues to be blocked by Julio. He's decided to grace me with his presence this morning. Few more times here. Again, watching that right knee isn't locked out, although I find that once I'm doing my second side, that knee doesn't really want to lock out. I'm a little bit more stable on that leg. 2 more. And then we're going to take it all the way to the heel. All right, so find that place where your heel is pressing down. Find your balance. Make sure your toes are nice and spread on that right side, and then you're going to pick your foot up, coming into that flex position, and then bring it back down. And then press through the heel, lifting up, flexing at the ankle, and then back down. And then back up and down. 2 more. And last one, making sure you're breathing as you're going. And then you're just going to roll up towards the arch about 1 inch, and then flexing through the foot and back down and flex and down. 2 more. And last one. And then roll to the arch. Again, from the arch here, you're just going to round those toes forward and then flex the toes up. And round them down and lift and round. And then spread them nice and wide. Making sure you're breathing. 2 more. And last one. Coming up just a little higher, same thing with the toes. It is a super beautiful day. So this sort of thing on nice days, if you run or go for long walks, would be a perfect thing to do before or after. And come all the way up until your toes are wrapped around that ball. You're really right there at the ball of your foot, and then you can rock back and forth from one side to the other, or you can just hold it 3 or 4 times. Last one. And then you're going to come to that inside edge of your foot, and again, just roll through the inside edge a few times. If you have a sticky spot, particularly in your arch or your heel, just hang out there for a second. And then coming to the outside edge and doing the same thing. And again, if your ball rolls away from you, just grab it. 1 or 2 more times. And then the last one, roll your ball out from underneath your foot and go ahead and grab onto it. And you can just place it. Actually, you know what? We're not going to use this yet. You can place your ball off to the side. Don't let it roll too far away from you because we will come back to it once we're on the floor. But from here, just having your knees directly underneath your hips, so you're in a pretty narrow squat or stance, more or less at hip distance, which, don't forget, hip distance is not shoulder distance, so your feet should be right underneath you. And then from here, you're just going to send your hands forward. As you sit back like you're going to sit in a chair, your hands come straight out in front of your shoulders, and then you're going to press all the way up and then grow nice and tall. And really feel your whole foot on the ground, knees come right over your toes, and then back up. And as you sit back, feel your sitting bones widen, and then as you stand up, feel the engagement like you're lifting from the femurs as though they're a little fulcrum, helping your body come up, your hips rather. 3 more. 2. Just moving through the hips, the knees, and the ankles. Last one. And then come all the way up. You're going to lift the heel on your right foot, and you're going to sit halfway down, and then back up. Only 4 like this. 3, 2, and last one, come halfway down, and then you're going to lift that right leg up. And you're going to stand all the way up, working on your balance here, and then come down, and then come up. You're going to stand like a little flamingo. Really here, you're just making sure that your knee is tracking over your hip, or over your foot rather. 2 more. And last one, using those nice and rolled out legs. 4. Both feet all the way down. We're going to do 6 more squats here. And then switch to the other side, using that whole foot rather than super tight soles of your feet, which can impact your balance. 2 more. And last one. And then lift that left heel up, sitting down into your right leg. For 3, 2, and last one. Come halfway up, find your little flamingo stance, and then stand all the way up, and squat down, and lift. For 5, using that whole foot. 4, if you need to tap your toes to the floor to do this, or hold on, by all means, go for it. 2 more. And last one. Both feet down, 6 more squats just to finish. And then we're not going to do any more squats. 4, 3, 2, and last one, hold here. And then lengthen yourself all the way back up. Come onto your tiptoes. Reach your hands up. Think about holding onto something overhead. And then send your heels down. And then you're going to roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Your knees are nice and soft. And you're going to walk yourself out into a plank. From here, you're going to lift your hips up and bend your knees a whole bunch, getting a nice stretch to the back. And then you can alternate one heel lowering and then the other, pedaling out your down dog position, getting a stretch to the back of those legs. You are in your plank, your tailbone is gently tucked under. You're thinking about drawing your heels of your hands towards your feet. Heels of your feet reach back, crown of the head reaches forward. And then you're just going to send your hips up to a down dog again. And then find that plank. Engaging through the lats. And then back up. By finding that armpit connection. Opening through the collarbone. Heels of your hands toward your feet. 4 more like this. That scratching noise is not static. I apologize. Julio was trying to dig a hole through our mattress. 2 more. Waking up the whole of your body. Last one. And then find your plank. Drop your knees down, bring them nice and wide, and sit back onto your heels. Let your forehead reach the ground, and then just take a nice big inhale and exhale. Let your shoulders relax. Creating a little bit of space between your ears and your forearms, your ears and your biceps. And then you're going to come to all 4s. If you would like, this is totally optional, you're going to take your ball and you're going to put it underneath your foot or your ankle. If not, you are just going to do this like we normally would. So if you have the ball, you're just going to extend the leg back behind you until your leg comes long, and then you're going to drag it back in underneath you. And then let it roll out and open up through the back of the back of the knee, and then resist it back in. If you don't have the ball, you are doing the same thing, just sliding your foot along the floor. And open back up. And in 3 more, just really focusing on that smooth movement through the hip joint and opening through the back of the leg, engaging the hamstring and the glute. Last one, pause here with that leg long and then float it up and back down. And lift and down. Hips are square. Your abdominals are gently lifting and you're pressing the floor away, finding that rib cage and lat connection through the armpits, feeling the heel of your hand drop backwards. 2. And last one, pause here, flex the foot, and then lower the knee an inch or 2, and then press it up. And then lower just an inch or 2, and lift for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. And last one, pause with that leg lifted, externally rotate that leg from the femur. Bring that knee towards your upper arm, and then extend it back, rotate it to parallel. So really focusing on that rotation, and then the draw in, and then extend it back, and rotate it towards the ground. And then externally rotate, bring it in, lift, rotate towards the ground. 3 more. 2. Reaching the sitting bone back on that right side as you bring that leg forward. And then pause here. You're going to reach it straight back, keeping it externally rotated. So knee in, reach to the sitting bone as you bend the knee, and extend long through the leg, thinking a little bit, but not much, of a diagonal behind you. Your hips are still pointing down towards the ground. 2. And last one, pause with that leg long. Come down onto your left forearm. Right hand can still stay on the ground. Now your hips are open towards the computer, towards the wall in front of you. Tap that leg towards the floor and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5. Pressing the floor away, still keeping that connection through the whole underside of your body on the left. 3, 2, and last one. And then bend that knee in and then place it down on the ground. Keeping yourself in this slight twist position, you're going to open that hip up to the right and then bring it back down. So you're opening the hips as you lift the leg and back down for 4. If this is uncomfortable by any means, you can do this on your side as well, just laying all the way down, or you can keep the hips slightly open and not add in that little additional rotation. 2 more. And last one. And lower all the way down onto your left hip. Just move your ball all the way out of the way. And you're going to come down with that left forearm on the ground and then feel the elbow tug toward your hip. And then your legs are right in line here. You're going to open up for a clamshell for 8, 7. We're going to do the whole thing on this side and then we'll switch to the other side for 4, 3, 2, and last one. Lift that leg up, extend it long, and bend it back in. And extend. Feel like you have a rubber band from the sitting bone on that right leg to the heel. You're pressing the floor away so you're not sinking down. I know it's hard to see with a sweatshirt. And you are bending and straightening, opening through the back of that leg just as you did in the squat and when you were in all fours a moment ago. Reaching through the sitting bone, opening through the hip. 3, 2, and last one. And then plant that leg on the ground right in front of the ankle on your left side. And then you can either stay on your forearm or come up to your hand. Either way, right arm is going to lift long. If you're on your hand, your shoulder may be closer to your feet than your hand. That's totally fine. You're going to reach long with that right arm. Press through the feet. Glue your inner thighs together. Press up, side bend, up and over. Reach the hand back down. Reach the hips towards the feet. And then sit back down. Press through the feet, lift through the lower body as though you have like a little hammock underneath you that's pulling you up, and slowly resist down. If you're on your forearm, you're doing the same thing. 4 more. The farther overhead your hand goes, that right hand, the harder this gets. And you can always leave a knee down if this is too much. But hips are staying square to the front. 2. And last one. You'd come into a plank here. Find that nice plank position. Lift the hips up. Bend the knees. And then you can pedal one and then the other. If you have any rounding in your low back and you don't have the particularly prettiest down dog, that's totally fine. You can always bring your feet or your hands a little wider. And think about lengthening the crown of the head towards your hands and keeping those knees bent. Good pause here. You're going to shift back into that plank and then lift the hips back up. And then shift back into your plank and lift the hips. 4 more. You can always drop to your knees and do this between a kneeling plank and a down dog or a kneeling plank and a child's pose. 3, 2, last one, and then lower all the way down, bring your knees nice and wide, and sit back into a child's pose here. Again, take a nice big inhale, let your shoulders rise up towards your ears a little bit, and then exhale, totally relax down. Take one more breath in your child's pose there. And then come up to all 4s. If you would like, you're going to grab onto that ball again, and you're going to place it underneath your ankle on that left foot. But before we go anywhere, we're just going to take a cat-cow. So tuck the tailbone under, round the spine up towards the ceiling, drop the head. And then uncurl, feel the hands draw back towards your hips as you find that extension opening through the chest. And then round the spine up towards the ceiling. And lower back down. And lift. And then finding your nice neutral position here. Reaching back through that left leg, opening up through the back of the leg, and then draw that leg back underneath you. And then lengthen it back, open up, and draw it back under. Really focusing on that smooth movement through the hip. 4 more. 3, 2, get rid of my ball. Last time, you're going to stay. And you're going to pause with that leg long. And then from here, you're going to float it up, open through the hip, or through the hip flexor, and then tap that leg down. You can either be flexed, reaching so long that it floats through that heel or through the pointed toe. Your choice. Hips stay square to the ground. Weight is more or less even through the hands. Unless you're picking your hand up to, I don't know, hit your face or get hair out of your way. 3 more. 2. And last one, leave it lifted, flex the foot, lower it down an inch or 2, lift. Lower down and lift. Good, giving a little squeeze through the glute, feeling like your hamstring is doing the work here. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Last one, and then externally rotate, bring it forward, press it back, and rotate it to neutral. Externally rotate, bring it in, and back, and neutral. Really focusing on that rotation and the reach back of your sitting bone as you bring that knee in so that you're not just hiking your hip and doing a side bend here. Looking for a little bit more stability in this specific movement. 2 more. And last one, pause here. Reach that leg straight back and then bend it in and back. Again, you're on a slight diagonal here for 4, 3, 2, Last one. Leave that leg long. Come down onto your right forearm. You can open your hip up towards the wall in front of you and point and lower and lift. I said point. If you want to flex your foot, by all means. Pressing down through that right forearm and the left hand. Keeping yourself in this slight rotation for 4, 3, 2. Last one, bend that leg in and then lower it down. Close the hips. Open the hips as you open the leg. And again, if you prefer, you may keep the hips open or come to lay all the way on your side, knees stacked in front of you, more or less at a 90-degree angle. And just lift the top one. 4 more. And then we'll come down onto our side. 3, 2, and last one. Good. Swing your hip down to the ground. You can start on that forearm. Hips are stacked, heels in line with the glutes. Press down through that right forearm. Really think about lifting through the side. You're not sagging down. You don't have your shoulder resting or your ear resting on your shoulder. Nice and supported. And then you're going to start that clamshell. Really thinking about keeping the hips nice and square here. If you were to be leaning up against a wall, your hips would both be touching. So you're not leaning back as you open. And if this is uncomfortable in your hip, just place something like a pillow or a little towel or blanket underneath. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. Lower that leg down, lift the whole shape of your leg, and then extend it long, finding that opening through the hip. The heel is right underneath the hips. It's as though when you are here, you are standing. And then bend it back in, and extend. And bend, and extend. 6 more. You can always bring your hand to that glute and feel your sitting bone drop down into your hand, and then let it come away from your hand as you extend. So you feel like the bony part of your butt, and then you get just flesh. For 4, pressing up through that right arm. 3, 2, and last one. Bring that leg in and plant the foot right in front of the left ankle, or right ankle rather, and then come up on your hand. Again, hand out from your shoulder, but still more or less in line with your shoulder, maybe slightly in front of your hips. You can always readjust as you need. Reach long through that left hand. Press through the right hand. Glue the inner thighs together and come up. Make sure that right elbow is not locked, and then resist. Come back down. And lift. And down. And lift. Feel that hammock pulling you up. Heels or hips towards your heels. 3, 2. Another like the down dog to plank combo of strength and stretch. This feels great through my side. Last one. I don't know why I keep whistling today, but here we are. And then all the way down. Come to sit on your butt and have your legs out in front of you. Just let them be bent, and then just reach towards your ankles and round forward. Take a little rest here for a moment. And then you're just going to stack your spine up nice and tall. And with that similar sort of rounded position in mind, you are going to scooch towards the top of your mat. Make sure you have plenty of room behind you. And you are going to place your hands on the fronts of your shins, and ankles where they meet, so right here. And then you're going to sit up nice and tall. And then from this tall position, you're going to think about making space between your abdominals and your legs as you curl the tailbone under. So you're in this rounded position here. Your gaze is at your thighs. And then you're going to pull one leg in, foot off the ground, press the foot into the shin into the hand. Other leg holding here for a balance. Take a nice big inhale, and then think about gently externally rotating the legs, bringing the heels together. Toes can be slightly apart in this nice balanced position here. Take a big inhale, and then on your exhale, you're going to round the tailbone, curl it under so much that you roll back just to the shoulder blades, and then you pop back up, and then exhale. So you want to use your breath to help you move. So I find that inhaling to go back, exhale when I'm halfway back, and press that exhale out to pause and balance the top. So you are just thinking about rounding so much through the low back that you just sort of move, and you're not rolling onto the neck or the head. You're just staying on your shoulders, and you're trying to balance at the top. And roll back and up. If you find that you get a flat spot, think about focusing the breath there. So sometimes the low back can be that flat spot where you're not getting the rounding through the spine. So again, just trying to focus your breath there. We're going to do 2 more. Take your time. Again, make sure you're not rolling onto the head or the neck. And then pause here at the top. Pausing with those legs lifted, and then grabbing on behind the thighs, and then press the thighs into the hands. From here, you're just going to round back a few inches, reach through the legs to help counterbalance you, and then pick yourself back up, stack your spine up nice and tall. Hands are heavy in behind the thighs are heavy in the hands, so you're rounding back, and then uncurl the spine, lift up, finding a nice long spine. Again, that same motion, space in the hip flexors, so you round back, legs stay fixed, shoulders stay more or less relaxed, and then lengthen up. And then round halfway back. And lift. Again, you're not holding your legs there just with your abs. Your arms are really doing some work, and as a result, you're back. And then you're going to round all the way back. Bring the knees into your chest, grab onto your shins, and then extend the arms, extend the legs, and then bring them straight back in. Give yourself a little hug. Low back is gently pressing into the floor. Abdominals are not pressing up towards the floor, up towards the ceiling. They are gently engaged. Shoulder blades, if you can, are lifted off the mat, head as well. But if you need, you can always lower your head down and do the same thing. You have 4 more. Gazes at your legs. 2. And last one. Good, knees in, hands behind your head, and lower all the way down. Take a second here just to readjust. Knees in by your chest. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. And then you're going to extend the left leg, twist over towards the right, and then switch sides. And if you can, having the shoulder blades come off the floor or stay all the way off. Think about rotating the rib to the opposite hip rather than touching the elbow to the knee for 4. 2 more. Last one to each side. Chin is gently grazing the chest. Last one. And then bring everything in, lower the head down. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Lengthen the legs up towards the ceiling. Or you can have the knees bent. I'm going to go with bent knees. Think about finding that neutral position here. And then cross at the ankles. So you're either like this or here. And you're just going to lower the legs away from you a few inches and then resist to bring them back in. And let them come away. 4 more. 3. Chin is not pressed into your chest. 2. And last one. Good. Lower the head down. Bring the right knee into your chest. Lengthen that left leg nice and long. You can bring that knee over towards your armpit on the right side. And then you can bring it across your body as well. Taking a little rotational stretch. Oh, excuse me. And then come back to the center. Bend that left leg in. Place it on the floor. And then reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. You're going to go across the body, down, around, and up, down, around, and up. I like to do this with my thumb or a finger at my hip flexor, just to make sure it's gliding, it being my femur is gliding nice and smoothly for 4, 3 in this direction, 2, hips are square, shoulders are relaxed, last one, and then reverse the other direction, out, down, around, and up, out, down, around, and up. Your left leg is staying nice and still. Your weight is even between the hips. 3, always do this with a bent leg, 2, and last one. And then bring your left knee into your chest, extend the right long. I'm gonna scooch up on my mat a little more. And then you can bring that left leg over and up toward your left armpit. Reaching long through that left leg. And then bring it across your body over to the right. And then bend that right leg in, extend the left leg as long as you like. I'm going to do this side with a bent leg. My hip flexor isn't the happiest. And when it's bent, my hip flexor totally comes out of the equation in terms of being uncomfortable. So cross that thigh over towards the right, down, around, and up. Down, around, and up. For 5, 4, again, right leg stays pretty still. You're nice and stable through that side. Shoulders are relaxed. Upper body is relaxed. Your face too. Make sure you're not grimacing. And if you are, then this is just not the way to do circles for you. You can roll over onto your right side if you prefer. And then reverse the circle. So out, down, around, and up. Out, down, around, and up. That movement is coming from the femur rather than the foot, or in my case, the knee. 3, 2, and last one. Good. Lower that leg all the way down. If you'd like, you can put your ball in between your knees or your ankles. Mine rolled very far away from me, so it's in the hallway. I'm just going to leave it there. And if it's there, it's just a nice reminder, a little tactile feedback for you. Either way, press the feet down into the floor, curl the tailbone under, feel the hip bones draw up towards the ribs as the lower back presses into the mat and you open through the front of the hip. And then peel yourself all the way up until just your shoulder blades are on the floor and your head and neck. And then peel yourself all the way back down. Think about finding a little bit of extra length in the spine as you lower those hips down. Press up and back down. One more time like this. Good. And now you're going to lower the hips down and lift for 6. You can come all the way down or partially. 5, 4, 3, we're going to do another variation of the squatting that we did in the beginning. Because bridges are basically squats. At least to me they are. Pause at the top. Lift that right heel up, toes into the ground. Scoot your feet in a little closer towards you, whatever you need to find your most stable base of support. Lower the hips down and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5. Feeling that difference through the hip, through the thighs, through the abdominals even, how your body is compensating for that heel being lifted. Last one, pause at the top. Float that right leg into tabletop, lower down for 8, 7. You can also do this with just your toe on the ground. 4, 3, 2, small lifts. Knee reaching long over the toes. Last one, pause here. Lower the foot down. Tap the hips for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Heels are drawing up towards your shoulders. Plant that left toes down. Heel is lifted for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. If you want, bring your hands up for a little additional challenge. Last one, pause here. Float that left leg into tabletop. Tap it down for 8. 7, you can make the motion as big or as small as you'd like, as long as the hips are square and even, thinking about that left hip not hiking, for 3, 2. Last one, lower that leg down. Feel the heels draw up towards the shoulders, really engaging through the whole back of the leg, pressing the feet down towards the floor, feeling it in those glutes. Lower the hips for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Bring your hands into a cactus position and then slowly, slowly, slowly peel yourself down. One vertebrae at a time, finding that little bit of extra space. And then bring your feet about as wide as your mat and let your knees fall over to the right. Take a second, just a few breaths here. If you'd like, you can bring your right foot onto your left outer leg. Increase that stretch a little bit. And then bring the knees up towards the ceiling and going over to the left. And same thing, you can always bring that left ankle now onto that right thigh. And then you're just going to windshield wiper back and forth from each side a few more times. Again, if you want to just pause on one side or the other, that's totally fine. 2 more to each side. Last one. Good, and then bring your knees over to the right and then come onto your right side and press yourself all the way up. Bring your knees underneath you. And then you're going to step your right foot back, left foot back to meet it. Find yourself in your nice plank. You can always drop to your knees here if you prefer. And then think about bending your elbows back toward your hips, but you're going to look over the edge of a cliff, over the edge of your mat, and press up. So you're keeping your upper body nice and open. Crown of the head is reaching long as you're bending and straightening through the elbows. 3 more. You can always do this on your knees. 2. Last one. And then everyone press up and find their down dog one last time. Bend your knees a whole bunch, like you're going to shoot yourself forward if you were to come into a plank from this position. And then drop the knees nice and wide and sit back onto your heels. Reach your hands forward this time, so you're really getting a nice stretch through those sides. And then reach all the way over to the right. Press that left hand into the floor. Think about crawling those fingers forward. And even rotating your body open towards the right. And then reaching your left sitting bone back in opposition. Might get a really nice stretch through the armpit here. Or the side. Or all of it. 2 more breaths. Last one. And then coming over to the right, or to the left rather. So reach long, walk those right fingertips forward. And then if it feels good, think about rotating your torso open towards that right side. Keep breathing. Reaching long through the right sitting bone back behind you, away from the fingers in opposition. 2 more breaths. And last one. Coming back to the center. And then slowly peeling yourself all the way up. And then slowly, slowly, slowly stack your spine, your head on top of your spine. Reach the arms all the way up. Clasp the thumbs. And you're just going to side bend over to the right. And then to the left, keeping those sitting bones heavy on your heels. One more time to each side. And then pause at the top. Externally rotate the hands, feel the shoulders drop, and then press down and let the crown of the head grow nice and tall, and let your arms find your sides, and you're all finished. Thanks.